Revealed. The incredible journey to uncover your hidden dreams and inspiring life-changing tale. Lily was a warrior, a single mother fighting her way through life in a cozy diner just outside Chicago. Every morning, before the sun peeked over the horizon, she'd lace up her worn-out sneakers and greet the day with a determination that could wilt the fiercest storm. Her 10-year-old son, Jake, gave her purpose, but sometimes that purpose felt like a weight. The dreams she had once painted with vivid colors now lay stifled beneath piles of diner dishes and bills. The clang of pots, the sizzling of bacon, and the chatter of customers filled the air, drowning out the whisper of her artistic soul. Imagine pushing aside a world of hope and creativity just to keep the small flame of family alive. It broke her heart and yet made her stronger. Jake, with his bright eyes and an imagination as wild as the wind, idolized his mother. He saw the flicker of light in her dulled spirit, and he couldn't bear to watch her dreams fade. One afternoon, while Lily meticulously crafted another plate of pancakes, Jake was busying himself. He found an old canvas tucked away, holding onto the remnants of his mother's artistry. With childlike reverence, he submitted it into the local community art contest without telling her. He believed in her, and that belief took root in his heart like a blossoming flower. When Lily discovered his secret, her breath caught in her throat. Surprise splashed against her emotions like a painter's brush against an empty canvas. Pride swelled in her chest, but fear crept in a close second. What if her work, once reflected only in the eyes of her son, was dismissed by critics who couldn't see past her humble apron? This wave of self-doubt crashed down, cold and relentless, washing away the fragments of courage she had just begun to gather. This contest, soon approaching, brought with it a tidal wave of challenges. The whispers of the suburb grew louder. Some said, "She won't get anywhere, a diner girl?" The weight of their judgments made her chest tighten. Yet, there were neighbors, real people with grit, who tossed her words of encouragement and stood behind her like an unseen army. With their support, the warmth of community broke through her guarded heart, coaxing it back to life as her sketchbook lay open. The blank page before her felt like an insurmountable wall. Just as she gathered the threads of courage to reconnect with her lost dream, a financial setback hit hard. Bills piled up, threatening to swallow her whole like a monstrous wave. Guilt gripped her. Could she turn her back on her responsibility? The struggle between being the provider for Jake and being true to herself tangled like a spiral of unrelenting emotions. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Lily ballooned with conflicting emotions, a pivotal question loomed. Could she embrace her passion amid the chaos? Or would she let the whispers and fears extinguish her dreams once more? With every brushstroke that hesitated on the tip of her fingertips, hope flickered and flickered within the storms of doubt. As she stood before that unfinished painting, shadowed by a turbulent sky of expectations, her resolve melted and flowed like paint on canvas. Could she dare to reclaim her true self in a world that felt so against her? The final strokes were yet to come, and Lily could feel the universe holding its breath, waiting just like she was. The afternoon sun slid lazily through the diner's window, bathing the room in warm golden light. But for Lily, the brightness felt stifled, a reminder of everything she was avoiding. The clatter of plates and the murmur of conversations faded into background noise as she sat before the sketchbook, feeling trapped between worlds. The half-finished painting stared back at her, a poignant reminder of dreams lingering just beyond her reach. Jake bounced into the diner, his energy as contagious as ever. With a stack of papers in hand, he burst into the kitchen, his face lighting up when he saw his mother. "Mom, look, I drew a picture of us." He flung the papers onto the counter, grinning from ear to ear. Lily smiled, her heart swelling with pride as she saw the crude but charming rendition of their little family. There they were, two stick figures with oversized heads and silly grins, surrounded by swirls of color that reminded her so much of her own art. "It's perfect, honey," she said, ruffling his hair. But the joy was short-lived. With each passing moment and every dish she washed, her heart sank deeper into the quicksand of fear. Could she truly step out of the shadows? She had pushed aside her dreams for so long. Doubt whispered loudly now, reminding her of the diner's walls that pressed in from all sides. What would happen if I fail? It crowded her mind like a storm cloud. Suddenly, her cell phone buzzed, startling her. A notification. It was the community center reminding participants about the upcoming contest. The heaviness of reality crashed down on her like a ton of bricks. She bit her lip, glancing at Jake, who was lost in his drawing, oblivious to her struggle. In that moment, she felt something shift within her. "Mom?" Jake called out, looking a bit unsure now. "Are you okay? You seem different." Lily inhaled deeply, steeling herself against the tide of emotions. "I'm fine, sweetie. Just thinking." But she wasn't fine. Guilt gnawed at her, and with it, a desperate rush of fear. She could feel the contest approaching like a freight train, and she was still standing on the tracks. Yet, the thought of letting Jake down cut deeper than any financial struggle. She couldn't let him see her weakness. With a resolute heart, she made a decision. "Let us paint together tonight," she exclaimed, surprising herself. "Just you and me." Jake's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Really? Like a real painting?" "Yes. And it's going to be great," Lily responded, her voice more confident than she felt inside. As they gathered supplies later that evening, colors burst from the tubes like old friends, rekindling a lost connection. With every brushstroke shared, something marvelous happened. The swirling colors became a mirror of their laughter and hope, laughter that chased their fears away if only for a moment. Yet, amidst the joy, a nagging thought lingered. The contest was looming, and the whispers of doubt had only begun to quiet. As they painted late into the night, her mind wandered. What if she actually won? What if she failed? Could a single moment hold the power to change everything? As she brushed the final strokes, an unexpected comfort washed over her. Maybe this was how transformation started, not with monumental steps, but with tiny, bold moves. With Jake laughing beside her, she felt a flicker of hope ignite. But the bigger question remained. Was this enough to break free from the weight of expectation and ignite her dreams once more? Tomorrow would hold the answers, but for tonight, under the halo of their shared creation, Lily dared to dream again. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the curtains, painting the walls with soft golden patches. Lily woke, the weight of the canvas from their late-night painting session still fresh in her mind. She turned her head to see Jake sleeping peacefully, his messy hair a halo against the pillow. That innocent face stirred a deep sense of hope mixed with uncertainty in her heart. Today was the contest, the day that could redefine everything for her. The dream she had tucked away for years felt tantalizingly close, yet looming like a mountain she hadn't even begun to climb. She crept out of bed, tiptoeing around the colorful mess of paints and papers they'd left the night before, her resolve hardening with each step that in the kitchen. She prepared breakfast, trying to quiet the clatter of anxious thoughts. Jake wandered in, rubbing his eyes. "Mom, can we paint again today?" he asked, sleep still hanging around his words. Lily hesitated. The contest deadline felt like a noose tightening around her neck. "How about after breakfast? We can work on that big painting together." The smile that blossomed on Jake's face nearly erased her worries. She took a deep breath. It'll be a special day. As they devoured pancakes, Jake babbled about his dreams. "I want to be an artist too. We can have our own gallery and show everyone how great our art is." His eyes sparkled with innocence, his belief contagious. "Of course we can," Lily replied, her heart swelling with pride. "And if you keep creating, one day your art will be in the world." But the thought of her own aspirations flickered in the back of her mind. Could she be brave enough to show her work alongside his? After breakfast, They returned to the living room, armed with brushes and paints. Lily concentrated deeply, every stroke of the brush easing her fears, channeling them onto the canvas. The shadows of self-doubt began to dissipate. With Jake beside her, each color they mixed sang with possibility, bold and cheerful. But then, as they worked, her phone buzzed again. It was a reminder for the contest. Panic surged through her. Her hand trembled, nearly ruining a vibrant blue sky she was painting. Jake looked up, sensing her shift in energy. "Mom, what's wrong?" Lily forced a smile, her heart racing. Just a reminder to submit my piece, you know?" She tried to sound light, but her voice cracked as doubt crept back in. What if her painting wasn't good enough? "You're the best, Mom. Your painting will be amazing," Jake said, beaming with genuine faith in her. His words shot through her worries like a ray of light. "Okay," she breathed out, more to herself than him. "No more doubts. Just paint." As the hours passed, the painting transformed, much like her thoughts. The colors melded together stubbornly, carving out a piece of her long-buried dreams, reflecting her heart's true desires. Every stroke felt liberating, as if she was painting her way out of darkness. But the clock ticked ever closer to submission time. With a mixture of thrill and dread swirling within her, she stepped back to examine their work. A feeling of pride washed over her, mingling with the bitterness of fear. Was this really enough? With one final touch of paint, she breathed deeply, caught between the exhilaration of creation and the suffocating grip of reality. "Jake," she said softly, "what if I fail?" But instead of fear, Jake's face lit up with pure joy. "You won't fail, Mom. You already made the best painting ever. You're my hero." A rush of warmth swept through Lily. Could she believe it? Could she truly step forward into the light? With her heart pounding in anticipation, she realized it was time. "Let us get it ready. We need to submit it now." As they hurried to clean up and prepare for the contest, a new question loomed in her mind. Would this be the moment that defined her? The world outside felt different, full of promise as she stepped into the unknown. Lily stood at the threshold of the door, the bright sunlight spilling onto her face, warming her skin like a gentle hug. She felt Jake's small hand slip into hers, grounding her amid the whirlwind of emotions churning inside. Together, they stepped outside. The neighborhood buzzed with the energy of a beautiful afternoon. Laughter floated on the breeze, children played in the yard, and lawnmowers droned in the distance. But all of that felt miles away to Lily. Her heart raced, beating time with her thoughts. One step at a time, she whispered to herself. She needed to focus. As they walked to the community center, the weight of the contest felt heavier with each passing block. "Are you excited, Mom?" Jake chirped, looking up with those wide, trusting eyes. He was the source of her strength, yet also a reminder of how much she had to lose. "Yeah, just a little nervous," she admitted, squeezing his hand. "But I'm more excited too." The center loomed ahead, its familiar red brick walls symbolizing both opportunity and anxiety. When they approached the entrance, Lily noticed other artists with their canvases, a mix of seasoned professionals and hopeful newcomers. Each artist was wrapped up in their world, vibrating with creativity, colors splashed on their clothes. Jake tugged at her hand. "Can we go see the paintings?" "Of course." They wandered further inside, past rows of stunning works. Each painting seemed to tell a story, and for a moment, Lily felt lost, swallowed by her insecurities. What if hers paled in comparison? As they reached the main hall, her phone buzzed again. The reminder for submission flashed across the screen. "Time's running out," she murmured, taking a deep breath to steady her nerves. "Look, Mom!" Jake exclaimed excitedly, pointing to a large mural on the wall filled with vivid colors and whimsical shapes. "That one looks really cool." His sheer joy lit a spark in her heart, and she was reminded of the reason they had ventured here. She followed his gaze, and despite her insecurities, something inside her shifted. The mural pulsed with life, catching the light in a way that felt almost magical. It was proof that creativity had no bounds, that each artist brought a piece of themselves into the world. Jake tugged her back to the present. Are we going to put ours up? He asked, bouncing on his toes. Yes, we are, she affirmed, her voice steadier. With each step toward the registration table, she felt both exhilarated and terrified. But now Jake's faith bolstered her. She could feel his belief wrapping around her like a warm blanket, and she realized the moment was bigger than the contest. It was about sharing her heart, taking a chance. As they neared the volunteers, her breath hitched in her throat. They were next in line. A surge of adrenaline flowed through her. She looked at Jake, who beamed with excitement, echoing confidence. With their turn upon them, Lily set her canvas down on the table. It felt heavy yet liberating as she released it into the hands of fate. Here goes nothing, she whispered, and closed her eyes for just a moment. What's wrong, Mom? Jake asked, concern flashing across his face. Nothing, just feeling everything. When she opened her eyes, she met Jake's gaze pure and unwavering. In that moment, she realized that regardless of the outcome, she had already won. But as they walked away from the submission table, a woman approached, a twinkle in her eye. Excuse me, she began. Would you like to know something wonderful about your piece? Lily's heart stumbled at the thought of what was to come. What could it be? The uncertainty of the moment wrapped around her, enticing yet terrifying. What could she possibly be about to hear? Lily's breath hitched in her throat as she processed the woman's words. The air felt electric around them, charged with expectation. She turned her gaze toward Jake, who watched the interaction with wide, curious eyes. What is it? Lily managed to ask, her voice a mix of trepidation and hope. The woman leaned in closer, her expression warm yet enigmatic, as if she held a precious secret. I can see your heart in this piece. It spills out in every stroke. Tells a story, your story. Lily felt her pulse quicken. My story? Absolutely, the woman nodded vigorously. Art isn't just about technique. It's about truth. People can feel it. She gestured toward the canvas, a vibrant swirl of colors that had seemed chaotic to Lily, but now felt full of potential. You've captured something powerful here. I would bet my last dime that it resonates with so many. The woman's words ignited a flicker of confidence within Lily, but the fear still loomed. I barely know how to paint. What if it's not enough? Enough for who? The woman asked pointedly. Yourself or someone else? Make this journey about you first. Then share its light with the world. Jake squeezed her hand a little tighter, seemingly sensing the shift in the air. Mom, you're an artist. It's cool. You've always painted. Right, but no buts. Jake chirped with innocent boldness. You said you'd take a chance. Lily fought back the tears that threatened to spill over. Here was her little boy, standing firm, urging her to believe in herself. Okay, she breathed, accepting the warmth of his words, a burst of courage blooming in her chest. I'll try. Good. The woman smiled knowingly. I think you'll surprise yourself. With a gentle wave, she said, I'll be watching for your name later. Then she stepped away, leaving Lily and Jake standing there, the world around them buzzing even louder in their ears. The older artists continued setting up with focused intent, brushes swishing in vibrant palettes. Some were engrossed in their work while others animatedly discussed techniques. Lily felt out of place, almost like a child caught in a whirlwind of adulthood. But as she glanced down at her canvas again, seated like a promise on the table, the swirling colors began speaking to her anew. Can we explore a little more? Jake asked, his excitement still bubbling. Absolutely. They wandered deeper into the community center, where a spotlight awaited vibrant minds. The walls held masterpieces that shone with life, and for the first time, Lily didn't feel the pang of comparison. Instead, she felt a growing sense of belonging. Each piece shared a whisper of the creator's journey, a reminder that they all started somewhere. No one was perfect, and mistakes were part of the process. Their imperfections were real, raw, and strikingly human. Suddenly, it all clicked. As if reading her mind, Jake tilted his head and asked, What's your dream, Mom? She paused, caught off guard. My dream? Yeah. Like, what do you want to paint someday? The question hung in the air, and to her surprise, a vision filled her mind. It was a vibrant mural depicting not just her life, but the shared experiences of everyone who mattered to her. The stories, the laughter, the love. Well, I guess she began slowly, her heart swelling with unrealized wishes. I want to paint something really big, something that tells our story. A celebration of our family. Cool. Like superheroes. Exactly. Just then, an announcement echoed through the hall, akin to a bell tolling for a new adventure. Reminder to all participants. The artist talk will start shortly. Do you want to go? Jake asked, bouncing on his toes again. Lily hesitated, thoughts swirling like the colors on her canvas. What more could she learn? But the thrill of it promised to expand her realization. Yes, let us go. As they made their way toward the stage, Lily felt a push, the yearning to explore her art deeper, but also to understand herself better. Each step resonated with the echo of her son's belief in her. What would she learn on this next leg of the journey? Would she dare to embrace what lay ahead? Lily and Jake settled into their seats, anticipation bubbling up inside them. The stage was decorated simply, yet it exuded warmth, with art hanging elegantly in the back. Soft chatter filled the room, creating a cozy atmosphere. People exchanged ideas, theories, and dreams, a rich tapestry of creativity waiting to unfold. Lily focused on the stage, her heart racing. The woman from earlier had ignited a spark within her, and now the thought of sharing a dream felt both thrilling and terrifying. She glanced at Jake, who was beaming with excitement. This was more than just art. It was a chance to be heard, to reclaim a piece of herself lost in the daily grind of motherhood and life's responsibilities. As the lights dimmed and the spotlight focused on the center stage, an older gentleman with a silver beard stepped forward. His presence alone commanded attention. Welcome, everyone. Today we dive into the transformative power of art. He began, his voice deep and inviting. Art is not only for the skilled, but for the brave. It's a language of the soul. Lily felt her spine tingle. Brave. That word echoed in her mind. Would she dare to be brave? The crowd leaned in, captivated by his words. He shared his own story as an artist, the struggles he faced and the fears he overcame to find his voice. Each tale resonated, knitting a thread of connection that wrapped around everyone present. Today, I ask you to close your eyes for a moment, he continued. Envision what you genuinely desire to create. Let your imagination flow without hesitation. What is the truth you want to tell? Lily shut her eyes reluctantly, her heart racing. What if she couldn't see anything? But as she breathed deeply, images danced in her mind, a vast mural of vibrant colors, friends rejoicing, her family's laughter merging with sunny days, adventure, and love. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, and she opened them quickly, not wanting to be seen vulnerable. Jake squeezed her hand, giving her strength. At that moment, she realized her vision wasn't just about her. It was about everyone she loved and the stories they had shared. The old man's voice broke through her thoughts. Art, my friends, is the courage to express what cannot be said. It's your chance to connect, to heal, and to inspire. In that light, she felt a swell of determination. Maybe she had underplayed her importance in all this. Rather than worrying if others would like her art, maybe she should simply create for herself and those she cherished. With this realization, she felt lighter, like chains that had held her back were falling away. After the talk ended, the audience erupted in applause. Jake clapped enthusiastically, bouncing in his seat. That was awesome, Mom. You're gonna paint that mural, right? Right? I think so, buddy, Lily replied, her voice shaky but hopeful. I want it to be perfect. It has to be just right. Mom, perfect is boring. He giggled, and the innocence of his words made her laugh. Just have fun. With renewed energy, they stood and began to walk away from the stage. It felt as if the air was thicker with dreams and hopes. The room buzzed with excitement, but something shifted within her. Let us find a quiet spot. Okay? I need to think, she suggested, hoping to channel her feelings into a plan. Okay, Jake said. He was a fountain of positivity, and she couldn't help but smile. As they navigated through the crowd, Lily felt a sense of momentum building. Each person she passed shared their unique light, their passions intertwining in the atmosphere. Soon, they found a small nook filled with sunlight spilling through the windows. Lily pulled out her sketchbook, flipping to a fresh page. She picked up a pencil and stared at it, heart pounding with expectation. What would be the first stroke of her new journey? The question lingered in the air, calling her to respond. And just when she thought she knew where to start, the faintest tremor of doubt crept back in. Could she really do this? Would she be able to finish what she started? The whispers of hope mixed with the fear of failure, on the brink of storming forward or retreating into the shadows once more. What would happen next in her artistic journey? Would she find the courage to push through her doubts? Lily sat there, pencil poised, staring at the blank page as if hoping it would whisper the answers to her uncertainties. The sunlight danced across her sketchbook, warming her skin, igniting an ember of courage within her. How could she step forward into this unknown when the comfort of her routine felt so safe? Jake, curious and full of life, leaned over, peering at the blank canvas. "What are you going to draw, Mom?" he asked, eyes sparkling with anticipation. The simple question was a gentle nudge. It made her realize how simple it could all be, just a drawing, just a beginning. "I'm not sure yet," she admitted, glancing at him. "But I think it might be something beautiful. Like rainbows and flowers?" he suggested, his excitement palpable. "Maybe something like that," she laughed, feeling the weight lift a little. "Or maybe something about us, our adventures together." "Yeah," he cheered, bouncing in place. "That would be cool. Can I help?" His enthusiasm was infectious, and for that moment, the doubts began to fade. "All right," she said. "How about you tell me a story? Something fun we did together, and I'll draw it." Without hesitating, Jake launched into a vivid tale of their last trip to the park, describing the way they raced each other down the slide, the taste of cotton candy, and the way they laughed until their sides hurt. As he spoke, Lily felt the images he painted in words begin to form in her mind. The essence of those memories felt vibrant and alive, the laughter, the joy, and the bond they shared. With each stroke of her pencil, she could weave those memories into life. Jake's voice became a soundtrack, fueling her creativity. With each line she sketched, she felt herself expanding, shedding the hesitation that had wrapped around her heart like a heavy cloak. This was what the old man on stage had meant about courage. It wasn't about creating a masterpiece on the first try. It was about daring to create at all. "Whoa, look at that!" Jake exclaimed, interrupting her thoughts. He pointed at the whimsical curls that were taking shape on the page. "You're really good, Mom. See, perfect doesn't matter." She chuckled, her heart swelling with warmth and pride. "You're right. It's just about having fun." As her confidence grew, something else started to bubble up inside her, a realization that her artistic journey wasn't just about painting a mural. It was also about rediscovering herself. Art was a way for her to unlock doors she had kept shut for so long, a chance to express feelings and thoughts she often kept buried in the chaos of daily life. The world around them began to fade away, the noise of the crowd transforming into a gentle hum. She was lost in her sketch, the pencil gliding effortlessly on the page. And with every line drawn, she was reclaiming not just her dreams, but the very core of who she was. Suddenly, a shadow crossed her sketchbook. Startled, they both looked up to see the bearded gentleman from the stage, standing there with a knowing smile. "Your energy radiates, my dear," he said softly. "What story are you bringing to life?" Lily felt her cheeks warm with a mixture of embarrassment and excitement. Could she share this evolving dream with him? As Jake eagerly started recounting their day in the park again, she struggled with whether she would let her guard down. Could she risk opening up to a stranger, inviting their judgment into something so sacred? Or would she embrace the possibility of connection and encouragement? Just as she started to answer, Jake nudged her softly, his small hand on her elbow. "Mom, tell him about the colors." And there it was, the moment hanging in the balance. What would she say to the man who had inspired her in the first place? Would she find the courage to speak her truth, or would she retreat into doubt? Her heart raced as the doubt crept back in, reminding her of the fear she thought she had left behind. Would she seize this chance, or let it slip away? Lily took a deep breath, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. She had always been the one to shy away from vulnerability, to keep her thoughts and dreams tucked neatly away. But in that moment, with the sunlight creating a halo around her son, and the encouraging smile of the stranger, something clicked. The colors, oh, Jake loves colors, she finally said, her voice steady but laced with a hint of nervous excitement. When we were at the park, we saw this amazing rainbow after the rain. It felt like magic, didn't it, buddy? Jake nodded vigorously, his eyes wide. Yeah. The colors were like a big hug. Lily smiled, the warmth of Jake's words washing over her. Exactly. I wanted to bring that feeling to life, to show how our adventures are filled with colors that make everything brighter. The man's eyes sparkled with interest. A vivid representation of joy and memories. If you can express that, you'll touch many hearts, he said, nodding appreciatively. His encouragement ignited a spark within her. But Lily hesitated, a flicker of doubt dancing at the edges of her thoughts. What if it isn't good enough? What if I mess it up? Mom, Jake exclaimed, his small voice filled with conviction. It's not about perfect. It's about having fun, just like we did on the slide. He reached up, took her hand, and squeezed it tightly. It was a grounding moment that reminded her of their bond, their journey together. The bearded gentleman smiled again, letting the silence wrap around them for a heartbeat, as if he, too, was savoring the moment. You are the artist of your own life, Lily, he said softly. Every stroke tells a story, cracks, imperfections and all. Don't be afraid, embrace this journey. Lily felt a rush of emotions swell within her. It was so much more than just art. It was her passion, her resilience, and a doorway to her dreams. This moment was about unveiling layers of herself, previously hidden layers she'd learned to fear. All right, she said, her voice filled with newfound determination. Here we go. Let me grab the colors, Jake, and together let us make something that shines. With renewed energy, she began to reach for her colored pencils and paints. Each one felt as vibrant as the sunlight filtering through the trees, each one holding the promise of joy waiting to be unleashed. Jake clapped with glee, eager to help. Can I pick some colors? He asked, his voice bright with enthusiasm. I want to make it super cool. Of course. Let us do this together. As they began to fill the page with swirling colors and intricate designs, laughter bubbled between them. Lily's heart soared as she painted their shared happiness, the park, the rainbow, the feeling of freedom. Each brushstroke felt like letting go of the past and embracing a colorful future. But just as their creations started to take shape, a chill breeze whisked through the park, carrying whispers that tugged at her heart. A brief moment of doubt flickered again. Was she really ready to share herself so openly? What if the world saw the flaws before the beauty? Jake, sensing her pause, looked up at her with wide, encouraging eyes. Mom, just be you. I love you and your colors. Closing her eyes for a second, Lily took a breath. In that heart-stopping moment, she understood that this journey wasn't about being perfect. It was about living authentically, sharing love, and expressing all that she had buried inside. Thank you, Jake, she whispered, the warmth flooding her veins as they worked side by side. The stranger's presence faded into the background, leaving only the glow of creativity between a mother and son. But the lingering question remained. Would she have the strength to show the world this new part of herself? And how would she adapt when the colors she painted bled together, allowing both beauty and chaos into her life? Little did she know, the answer might come when she bravely unveiled their creation to a crowd. As the afternoon sun dipped lower, casting a warm golden hue across the park, Lily and Jake continued their work, lost in a world filled with colors. With every stroke of the pencil, Lily felt her worries begin to wash away like the last remnants of a rainstorm. Jake's laughter rang out, a sweet melody that encouraged her creative spirit. He stood on tiptoe, reaching for bright yellows and deep blues, determined to immerse their creation in joy. "Look, Mom, this one is like sunshine," Jake exclaimed, holding up a vibrant yellow pencil as if it were a trophy. Lily laughed. "You've got a knack for picking the best colors. Buddy, let us put that sunshine right here next to the rainbow." With their hearts racing in harmony, they brought the paper to life. The colors began to dance together, swirling into a tapestry of memories: the park, the laughter, the bond that cracked through the storms of their past. It felt like they were building something together, something that was both unique and completely theirs. Amid their creative explosion, people began to wander over, drawn by the vibrant colors and the joyful energy shared between mother and son. Friends from their neighborhood smiled and waved. For a moment, Lily felt a flicker of pride swell within her. Maybe this small creation could be the bridge to something bigger. Then, just as quickly, doubt bubbled up again. Would they appreciate this messy, colorful expression of happiness? Or would they see it as childlike and naive, a mere shadow of what true art should be? The apprehension knotted in her stomach, but she pushed it aside, focusing instead on Jake's joy. Suddenly, a voice rang out from the gathering crowd. "Hey, Lily, what are you two working on?" It was Sarah, a neighbor who often invited them over for weekend barbecues. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, the kind that made Lily's heart feel a tiny bit lighter. "We're making a rainbow memory collage," Jake exclaimed, his face radiating excitement. "It's our adventure in colors." "Wow, that sounds amazing," Sarah smiled, stepping closer. "Can we join you?" The invitation felt like a lifeline, pulling Lily back from the edge of her hesitation. "Of course," she responded, her voice steady. The moment Sarah picked up a brush, something shifted. The crowd around them faded, and for a heartbeat, it was just Lily, Jake, and Sarah, creating together. More friends joined, each adding their own colors, their own stories, and laughter mingled with the brushstrokes as Lily watched their collaboration. The initial cloud of insecurity began to lift. Maybe art wasn't about perfection. It was about connection, about sharing joyful moments with others. Through their laughter, she felt a growing sense of belonging, an exhilarating rush of acceptance. But, in the midst of this blissful creation, Lily felt a twinge in her heart. What if the crowd's support wouldn't last? Would they turn away when the colors faded, or when Jake no longer wanted to create? The thought seeped back in, a familiar shadow threatening to dim the brightness of the moment. Just then, Jake turned to her, his innocent gaze piercing through her worries. "Mom, look, it's beautiful. We're making magic." In that instant, she understood magic existed in the connections they were forming, not just in the colors splashed across the page. She had to share this not only with her friends but with everyone who came by. "Let us keep going," she urged, the fire in her heart reignited. "This is just the beginning." And just like that, Lily decided she would embrace the chaos, the imperfections. But a nagging thought lurked: how would this vibrant display of their hearts affect her relationship with those around her? As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over their creation, she felt restless anticipation. The unveiling awaited her, and it was coming fast. Would they truly accept her? Would this reveal lead to even deeper, hidden truths waiting to be discovered? The display would tell a story, and Lily was terrified yet thrilled by where it might lead. As the last hints of sunlight dipped below the horizon, casting a soft twilight glow over the park, Lily stood in front of their vibrant artwork, which had now transformed into a collective tapestry of memories, laughter, and hope. The exhilaration of sharing their creation pulsed through her veins, making her heart race like never before. Jake's excitement bubbled over, his happiness contagious, drawing in a throng of neighbors who were eager to witness what had sprung forth from their shared joy. "What's this?" A new face, a kindly older woman, asked, peering over her glasses. "Is it a rainbow?" Lily smiled, her heart swelling. "It's a memory of all our adventures, the park, the laughter, and the magic of being together," she replied, her voice steady, finally free of hesitation. "Looks like you've captured a moment in time," the woman said, leaning in closer, her eyes twinkling. "It's beautiful." At that moment, Lily knew she was no longer just a diner girl afraid to step beyond her comfort zone. She was an artist, and this was her voice, shared and celebrated. The words of the older man from the artist talk echoed in her mind. Art is the courage to express what cannot be said. She felt that courage flooding her spirit now as more people gathered, intrigued by the vibrant display, encouraged by the warmth of community. She found her own doubts fading into the background. "Can we add more?" Sarah asked, with a swath of cerulean paint in her hand. "We should capture our time together." "Yes, let us do it," Jake shouted, bouncing on his feet, so full of life and hope. Lily joined in, as they all laughed and played with colors, mixing and blending every shade that represented joy. She felt light, the weight of her worries lifting as she witnessed the connections weaving among them, like the colors on their canvas. Neighbors began to take turns stepping forward, adding their unique strokes. Each brush and pencil filled her heart with a unique melody of shared experiences, and a part of herself that had been locked away for so long was finally set free in that vibrant space filled with laughter and joy. Something incredible ignited within her. She was not just painting. She was forging paths of connection with each stroke. "Look, everyone, we're making a community masterpiece," she called out, a spark in her eyes as people cheered and joined in. The crowd grew tighter, surrounding her in a heartbeat of connection. Lily saw surprise and inspiration on their faces, and with it, new hope blossomed. Underneath the colors they created, deep-rooted fears melted away. Then, with laughter floating on the evening air, someone shouted, "We should display this at the community center." The crowd murmured in excitement, and Lily felt her heart surge. "Really?" she asked, her voice steadying at the thought. "Absolutely." Sarah nodded enthusiastically. "This isn't just art. It's our art. It's about everything we share." Armed with dreams and confidence, they made plans to unveil the masterpiece to the entire community. In that moment, Lily realized she didn't have to carry the burden alone. They were all building something beautiful together in appreciation for one another, and for the creative souls hidden within each of them. As the sun began its final descent, casting long shadows that danced across the canvas. Lily knew this was the start of a new chapter. She had finally begun to embrace her passions and share them boldly. "I love you, Mom." Jake's voice broke through her thoughts, and she knelt to hug him, their hearts beating in sync. "We did this together." "Yes, we did," Lily replied, tears of joy glimmering in her eyes. In that embrace, under the fading light, she felt the tremors of her old fears dissipate like mist in the morning sun. Together, with the community rallied behind them, they would unveil their artwork, their dreams intertwined, vibrant and alive. With a final touch to their masterpiece, a picture representing the richness of their shared journey, she realized something monumental. Life itself was their greatest canvas, waiting for them to paint. Their truth, to boldly share themselves without fear. And as she looked around at the faces of those gathered, she knew this was only the beginning of greater adventures. A life rich in color, laughter, and love. "Let us do it," she cheered, heart full, as they prepared for the unveiling together, ready for everything the future held. And in that moment, she was not just a mother rediscovering her dreams. She was a radiant force of creativity, breaking away from shadows and fear, welcoming all the promise of the colors yet to come. Now, dear viewers, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because your support truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending below. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans know the power of your support.